Hey y'all. Um so I know I said let's address the elephant in the room first. I said that I was going to be first I said I was going to be posting every week. All right? Then I said I was going to be posting once a month. It's been 6. Um I'm so sorry. To be fair, things have been moving. Life has been lifing. Um, and just to give y'all a little update, I have my own place now for the first time ever. And I quit my job because, yeah, I'll get into that later. But I did, in my defense, record some other videos, or I mean, at least one video diary. And I didn't upload it. Why, you may ask? Because it was me crying. Because all I fucking do is cry. If you can't count on me to do anything else, I will cry. And I'm tired of uploading videos of me crying. So I was like, I don't want to post that. I want to wait until I guess I'm in a better headspace. But yeah, I'm not gonna make any promises when it comes to posting. And I will just leave that at that. But okay, where do I want to start? Getting my own apartment has been a very liberating experience, and I feel a lot of peace. And I feel like I finally have the room to take up space the way that I was made to. And I won't say that it was easy, which was part of the reason for my disappearance, but I will say it was worth it. I have officially technically started my Saturn return. I think I started that in May. And I did quit my job. As y'all know, the job was not for me. It was making me very sad. Not sad, I don't even think sad is the word. It was making me really depressed, if I'm gonna be honest. And I hated it. Not me already about to cry. I hated going in there every day and feeling like I was never, no matter what I did, it was never enough. It was never good enough. I hated the passive aggressive behaviors that I experienced while working there. I hated the inequality and the favoritism that happened while I worked there. And I hated walking on eggshells because that felt like I never knew what I was going to deal with when I came in. It was like one day everything would be fine, everybody was happy, everybody was nice, and then the next day it was just like, oh, you know, I never do anything right, or we never did anything right. And yeah, and I feel like also it wasn't even worth the money. Like, I had to Uber to work, and my Uber was like $400 a month. And that was with me usually having a ride to work, just having to pay to get home. One paycheck for me at that job was never more than $500. So ultimately, I felt like it was the best decision for me. And I have a lot of peace surrounding that decision that I made. So yeah. And my room is a mess right now. You can't really see it. But my room is a mess right now because I feel like I finally am getting back into my creative flow. I'm finally creating at the pace that I want to, the things that I want to. I feel like the color is slowly starting to come back into my life. And I made a post about how technically I'm not falling in line with the traditional constraints of society. I am technically considered unemployed, and I don't have a degree. But I feel like if you pay attention to the news and everything, and all of the changes that are happening right now, while it can feel very heavy, I feel like we are experiencing a major shift. And what I mean by that is, I feel like the old ways, the traditional ways, are starting to fall apart. And change is always going to be hard. And it's not always going to feel the best. But you have to realize that in the end, it'll always be worth it. For example, last summer, or about last time this year, let's see, August of last year is when my lease was up after living with my mom, and I had no place to go. I had no help, really, for real. I had help. Let me take that back. I had help, but I just had no stability in my life. I didn't really have a solid support system or a solid friend group. And you fast forward to now, and I realized that all of those things falling apart, all of the people that I'm no longer friends with or in contact with, everything that happened for a reason. And it led me to a place where I'm finally happy with my life. And I mean, I said that in my last video that I posted, that I was going to be building the life that I want, or starting a new life. And that takes time, it takes patience, and it does take hard work. And I feel like right now, we are in a phase where I noticed that a lot of people who are creatives are unemployed, whether it be by choice or by force right now, and they are finally coming back to who they were. They are finally creating again. They are, because they have all of this time. It's just like when we were in the pandemic, when COVID happened, like at the height of COVID, and everybody all of a sudden was starting all these new crafts and these new hobbies and sharing these new things that they learned. And I think it was a way for people to cope with not being able to control what was going on around them. And I feel like that is what we're kind of starting to see again, is people creating their own moments of happiness in their life. And I'm about to cry because I feel like that's a really beautiful thing. And like I said, it may not look the best, it may not feel the best right now. But for example, I don't know, I've kind of been all in my dreams lately, because it's just like everything else is falling apart. What is literally the worst that could happen? I was at a job where I literally cried once a week at least on the phone with my sister at that job. I barely had money to do anything, like to pay my bills, but that was it. I had nothing outside of that to really buy food, to really go. I had no time to really hang out with my friends because I was always dead tired, and I just wanted to be alone and isolated after I'd get off work or before I went into work. And now I do face a lot of uncertainty, but I've created like so many things. Like one of them that I created that I finished last night, that I stayed up finishing last night, is I experimented and I made this little necklace that I plan on styling later on. I made a corset top, and I finally finalized the construction on that design. Water. I'm back to editing and making videos, and I realized that I actually enjoy that a lot more than I realized. I've started back writing. I've started back doing my vocabulary journal because if you know me, you know I'm a little nerd at heart. And one of the things that I've always loved is reading, but I've always loved vocabulary. I've always loved spelling. And so what I would do is I used to always keep a notebook for new vocabulary or new words that I learned. And I've been able to actually start filling that up again. I've started getting back into, I love photography. And so during the pandemic, I really started playing around with like moving my room around and making essentially sets for myself to do my photography in. And I'm able to finally do that again. I've gotten back into nutrition because I'm also a food science nerd, and I love learning about how certain foods cause inflammation in the body, which ones are good for depression, which ones give you the most vitamin K, magnesium, how they affect your sleep and all of this other stuff and your focus. And I feel lively again. I've gotten back into caring about my clothes and my hair, which is, once again, at work I always had to have my hair covered, so honestly I never really cared how my hair looked, because there was no point. I was spending 5 days of my life out of 7 at work, and I was working in food service, so couldn't really wear what I wanted to wear, didn't really care about my clothes because they were just gonna get messed up anyways. Guys, I was spending 5 out of the 7 days a week somewhere. There are 30 days in a month. There are 5 days, like I said, there are 7 days in a week. There are 4 weeks usually in a month. I know that's only like 7 times 4 is 28, but we'll just go with that. So 5 times 4 is 30. No, that's a lie. 5 times 4 is 20. So essentially I was only getting like 8 days, and then you add on the 2 days from 4:30. I was essentially only getting 10 days. Yeah, 7 days a week, 4 weeks usually in a month. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 of those days were spent at work. 5 times 4 is 20. 28 minus 20 is 8. When was I gonna have time to do anything at all? So, I don't know, man. I like the place that I'm at right now. I have plants now, and I actually get to care for my plants, and I actually get to have sun time. I haven't had sun time outside with my plants lately. 1, because they require indirect sunlight. 2, because it's getting a little chilly outside. And 3, because I have not figured out what to do about the mosquitoes on my damn porch. That's really ruining the vibes. But I still go out there and I sit and I just look at my little porch, and then I come inside and I look at the 50 million projects that I've started, and then I look at my cute little plants because I finally figured out how to take care of plants so they're not dying. And I am happy. I'm really happy. So, I think, like I said, with all of this happening, I think what's making this transition really hard for people is people who are trying to still hold on to the things that are meant to be let go. And I get it. Familiarity breeds comfort. I get it. But I don't know. I'm 27, and anybody who's older than me, I've never seen any of them genuinely happy, or they've never actually fully pursued what's made them happy in life or their dreams in life. Or if they do, it's like when they've hit like 40s, 50s, 60s. And y'all, that's just so long to wait. I'm 27, like I said, so that would be like 13 more years. Why would I want to wait that long? And plus, if you start working on that now, you won't have to look back 5 years later and be like, man, I really wish I would have started then, because you'll already be 5 years ahead. So, yeah. I just wanted to give y'all a little update because I know I disappeared, and I know I know I said I was gonna be more consistent with the posting, and I will work on that. I promise. I'll probably try and do some crochet tutorials. They just take so long to edit. I like the video diaries. I like that I can just get on here and chat and then just upload it, because it's just like I can just word vomit and just dump everything that's been in my brain for the past month into a 20-minute video. Yeah. But let me know, I guess, where you are in life right now in the comments. What are you figuring out? What are you working on? What are you feeling during this very tumultuous time in history, really, because it's not just, I live in America, but it's not just America. The snippets that I see of other people in other countries online, this is a global thing that is happening. So I'm really interested to see how everybody else is handling this transition. If you see this video, you can like it, you can comment, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I promise that you will see me at least twice a year. At least I'm gonna try and make this a monthly thing, because I feel like making these video diaries also helps me to get out everything that I feel inside, and it also helps me to be more confident in speaking my thoughts out loud instead of just writing them, because I am a poet. I do have poetry books, and I feel like while poetry is amazing, I do feel like it's been kind of like a crutch for me to get out of speaking my emotions out loud, and your voice is a very powerful thing. So it's important to make sure you use it. Also, side note, I went to go pick up my mail today outside of my apartment complex, and this guy was sitting on his balcony and he tried to give me his number. I just wanted to get my mail. Okay, anyways, have a good day, guys, and leave your comments down below, and I will talk to you guys later.